Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. So in this game we're going to be looking at a reroll team composition, the most popular reroll composition that's popped up here in the first full patch of TFT set 12. The other thing we're going to be doing is we're also going to be looking a little bit at some more general tactics about how to play double up. I had a comment in a video a couple weeks ago, I think, where someone asked, could you talk a little bit more about what you do in double up specifically and kind of how you work together with your partner? That's going to be Headwinder in this game. And I thought that would be a really good topic to focus on, in part because rerolling often involves a few less decisions than some of the other topics that you get. So we'll be doing both of those topics in this game. All right, our portal is going to be Champion Conference. We were thinking it was going to be Golden Gala because there were like 5 of us over on that one, but no, we get Champion Conference instead. What this portal does is at the beginning of each stage, you will get a champion that fits your team. So if you are playing all Frost units, you're going to get Frost units when you have the start of the next stage. So this is customizable to some extent. This is something that generally is good for builds that try to push levels, like try to get to level 8, level 9, play a bunch of 4 and 5 costs, because if you're playing Vertical Fairy, you're guaranteed to get either a Rakan or a Callisto on stage 4, and then as soon as you hit stage 5, you're guaranteed to get Emilio because you are guaranteed to get a 3 cost on stage 3, a 4 cost on stage 4, and then a 5 cost on stage 5 that fits whatever your most common trait is. So like I said, generally speaking, people don't go reroll when they have this set up. That said, for the very reason that we had this portal, and because it's not well suited to rerolling, I kind of thought that the path might be clear to play this reroll board, which is a board that's based around really rerolling for 3 key units. You're really looking to reroll for Poppy, Zoe, and Ahri. And then you also reroll for Lilia as well, but Lilia is not as important to the comp. So I had 1 copy of each of these units. I also have a Zoe pair, and then Headwinder had an Ahri in his store. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I have a tier, which is also the most important item when you're trying to build this team composition. I was like, I kind of have the items for this, and I mostly have the champions for this. So I think I'll look to go ahead and play this, even though it's not quite the perfect setup for it. I think I'm still going to look to go ahead and play this. And it turns out that no one else is going to be competing for this. Now, I have 2 XP granting augments there. I have Epoch and I have Slammin', but these are not ones that I want here in this game. When you're doing a 1-cost reroll build, which is what this is, you do not want things that give additional experience because you want to stay at a lower level so you can reroll for those lovely 1-cost units. I also do have some items here, so I'm definitely going to go ahead and look to make something. I'm going to first start by making Ionic Spark. That's really important in this team composition. And then I also have a sword and a tier, and I was like, do I want to make Spear of Shojin? Zoe is better with a blue buff, but I do have the perfect components for Spear of Shojin, so I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead, make the Spear of Shojin. Blue buff is better, but I'll go ahead and make the Spear of Shojin because I think that I would prefer to make use of these components. And Spear of Shojin is not bad anyway. The thing is, I need to get a mana generating item on Zoe, and I also need to get a mana generating item on Ahri as well. So I definitely am going to need at least 1 more tier so I can put maybe a Spear of Shojin on Ahri, but I'd prefer to put a blue buff on Ahri as well. So I'm definitely going to need some tiers here on this board. So I just went ahead and made the items I could. I also went ahead and put the belt on the Poppy, and I kind of wish I hadn't done that necessarily because I probably would like to make Gnasher's Tooth as an item, which is also really good on these casters, but I can't do that if I already have the belt on the Poppy. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about our setup here. As I said, we're also going to focus on double up and some of the basics, some of the things to focus on when playing double up. So if you're watching this, you probably already know double up is the 2-player team mode. You work together with your partner. You have a limited number of champion sends. That's the little helmet icon over there on the left-hand side. Or you can send a unit over to your partner's board. It goes on cooldown then, and then it comes off cooldown. I think it's 5 rounds on stage 2 and 3, and then it goes up to, I think, 7 rounds on stage 4 and after. Initially, you could only send 1, 2, and 3 cost champs. Starting on stage 4, you can send 4 and 5 cost champs. So you want to be in constant communication with your partner when you're playing in double up. It's really important to, first of all, it's good to be queuing with an actual partner. I do not suggest just queuing with someone randomly. You can do that. And in fact, one person that we know, Willow Arkin, actually apparently did a whole bunch of games where he just queued up with random people. And, you know, more power to you if you can do this, but it's really intended to be played with a partner of some kind. So you want to be communicating with your partner at all times. In fact, the best thing I've heard to do is to have like Discord something running so that you have the other person's screen on like a second monitor so you can always see what's on their screen. I do not have a dual monitor setup, unfortunately, so I can't kind of do that. But it actually is supposedly really nice if you can just see your partner's screen at all times. You can always click over to their screen, but you don't see what's in their shop when that happens. So that can be a good tactic. But even if you can't do that, and we generally are not running that when we're playing, it's still really useful to be in communication because you should always be talking about what units you are looking for that they might be able to find for you. As you see my board get absolutely crushed by this person who has 3 2-star units and is already level 5. Yeah, that board is really strong. But you always want to be talking about what units you are looking for and what units they are looking for on their board as well. So I have a pretty simple setup here, which is that I am re-rolling for these units. So I'm looking for Ahri, Poppy, Zoe. Those are my most important units. And we want to plan our sends around them. As far as Headwinder, he has gone ahead and taken the augment that gave him a training dummy with 2 random emblems on it, and he ended up getting a mage emblem on there. And so he is going to look to play mages in this game because it turns out that they're going to be relatively, I believe that they're uncontested in this lobby as well. So I have not used the champion send for him yet, and that's kind of wasteful because I could have already sent him something and had it like almost off cooldown to come back around again. The problem is I have not been seeing any mages. Yeah, so there he is. He's got a mage emblem and a witchcraft emblem. So the reason why he could have looked to play deeper into witchcraft trade as well, but he didn't want to do that because I am going to be playing Poppy and I'm going to be playing Zoe, and that like takes and like any Poppies and Zoes we find are going to be going over to me. And so like that would really limit what he could play in terms of witchcraft. So that's why he's going to be going for the mage side instead, and we're going to be emphasizing the mage, one of those emblems. He actually has 5 mages in really early, but they're all 1-star is the problem. All 1-star units. So we are not especially strong here in the early game, but we definitely want to be trying to, if we're going to be losing these rounds, it's okay to lose some of the early rounds. It's okay to loss streak through the early game. I prefer to win streak, but you can't always do that. Sometimes your board's just not that strong. You do want to try to minimize how much damage you're taking here in these rounds. So like that is a loss that I just had right there, but that's not too bad of a loss. I think Headwinder is on full loss streak here. In double up mode with the reinforced, and by the way, this is really nice. I have Ahri 2-star very early. Again, Ahri is uncontested in this lobby. Even though this is a super popular reroll build, everybody saw that portal that was going to give them expensive units and just decided not to head in that direction. So we are uncontested here in the lobby. And I'm going to get a Zoe send here. So we were communicating here as far as what to send. Headwinder had 1 Poppy and 1 Zoe on his bench. He asked me which one I wanted. And I said I would take the Zoe just because that does put me up to 6 Zoes. You could also make the case that I should have taken the Poppy because that would get me 2 out of 3 Poppies. A 2-star Poppy would really help here. In fact, the biggest reason why I'm losing these rounds is I have a 1-star Poppy and a 1-star Lilia for frontline. But he asked me which one I wanted, and I decided that I would take the Zoe so I could get a little bit closer to Zoe 3-star. Because I was closer to hitting the Zoe 3-star than hitting the Poppy 3-star, like way closer. 1 unit against 5. By the way, I actually won that round and ended somebody's win streak, so that's kind of nice. I lost my loss streak, but I ended their win streak, and they would have been full win streak otherwise, so I think that was still worthwhile. And then I went ahead and sent him a Mordekaiser, and the reason for that is he's going to look to play Mordekaiser on his board. If you're playing mages, you're going to be playing Galio, because Galio is a mage. Galio is mage plus portal plus Vanguard, and so typically you're going to play Vanguard frontline with mages. Generally, you play the Galio, and then you also play Vex, and then you can slot in like another Vanguard. And it actually makes a lot of sense to grab Mordekaisers because you can play mages as a 3-cost reroll build, and that is you try to reroll for Vhagar, who's a 3-cost mage, you try to reroll for Vex, who's a 3-cost mage, and then you can also reroll for Mordekaiser, who is also a 3-cost Vanguard. So they're all 3-cost units, and you can kind of play them together to unlock one another. All right, so there is going to be a Poppy. Note what pops out of the portal. So I have 2 Bastion, 2 Scholar, 2 Witchcraft. The game ended up giving me a Bastion. It ended up giving me Bastion. I don't know if that's because it's first in alphabetical order or if it was just a random judgment, but it ended up giving me a Bastion unit, and the 3-cost Bastion is Shen. So it's stage 3, we get a 3-cost unit. Unfortunately, that was useless for me because there wasn't really much I could do. I guess there's also a 3-cost Bastion is also Hecarim, so I could have potentially gotten Hecarim, and that would have been more useful for my board. But just keep in mind, I will get a 4-cost unit of whatever is my most played trait at the beginning of the next stage. Now I have gotten a bow out of this minion round, and now I was kind of like, oh man, I kind of wish I'd been able to save this for Gnasher's Tooth. I was able to get a completed item anvil though, and I was able to just grab a Death Cap for Ahri. That's going to be really, really nice. Death Cap is great on any AP caster in the current set. So Ahri is doing her best here. She has the Scholar trait. Ahri's traits are Scholar Arcana, by the way. So she has a Scholar trait in, doesn't have Arcana trait in yet, and look how much damage she did. 4,756 with a lot of it being true damage. So now we have the time for our second augment here, and I'm looking at the different options. I see that I have this one here, High Voltage, gain an Ionic Spark. Your Ionic Sparks have +3 hex radius, do 25% more damage. Since I already have an Ionic Spark, that actually feels pretty good. I can double up on the Ionic Sparks, and they're both going to get extra, they're actually going to get extra range and extra damage. And that's also good because I really do need the magic resistant shred for my board. I also need to put something else on the board here. So I have this extra Ionic Spark to play, but I don't quite have a unit to put it on just yet. And I'm looking for another unit to put in. I would really like to get Hecarim for Arcana trait. That's the unit I most want. But until I find it, I have to put something in. And I was like, all right, I guess I can put Fairy trait in for the 1-star Lilia, I guess. The problem is I still don't really have a good unit to put this on yet. So that's a little bit unfortunate right now. I mean, I could put it on the Lilia, but Lilia is like a 1-star unit. I was kind of hoping I could put this this second Ionic Spark on like a better unit. And again, you can really see what the problem is. My front line is just really, really, really bad. I'm still on 1-star Poppy, 1-star Lilia. So you could definitely make the case that I should have taken the Poppy send instead of the Zoe send when Headwinder had the chance to send to me. I'm also holding a Vhagar and a Vex on my bench. Remember I said we're gonna try to see if we can 3-star the Vhagar, the Vex, and the Mordekaiser on his board. And he actually got another Mage Emblem from his augment. This is really welcome, by the way. There's Poppy 2-star, there's Lilia 2-star. That significantly upgrades the quality of my board. Now I at least have 2-star frontliners. But we're waiting for the send to cool down, and now I'm going to look to slow roll here. And wait, there's a Hecarim. There's a Hecarim. I was going to play the Shen, and then I remembered that Hecarim was here. So I was like, oh, Hecarim. That's the unit I actually want over the Shen. So we can look to keep rolling here, and I have to stop here. Now I can look to go ahead and use the Arcana Emblem or Arcana Selector, and I'll go ahead and put the Ionic Spark on the Hecarim over there. Hecarim's not a great tank, but there's a decent chance that there's a decent chance I might be able to 3-star him later on. I guess I have better odds to 3-star the Lilia, and she's maybe a better tank, but I just decided to put it on the Hecarim anyway. So now we have double Ionic Spark, so we have really good MR shred, but we don't have that much actual tankiness yet. So you can see I'm still losing these rounds. I'm definitely behind. Now, granted, that person is the win-streaking player in the lobby. They haven't lost a round yet the whole game, and it was reasonably close, but it is taking a little bit longer than I'd like to try to hit some of my 3-stars here. Again, I'm going to be re-rolling for 1 cost, so I'm going to stay at level 5, and I'm going to be slow rolling for these. The good news is I do get to pick early. Bad news is I really wanted that tier so I can make a blue buff on Ahri, but unfortunately that's not available. So instead I will take the belt, and I will go ahead and make a Gnasher's Tooth. I wasn't able to... I had that belt on the Poppy, so I couldn't make Gnasher's Tooth with that. I mean, I could, but then I'd have Gnasher's Tooth on Poppy. So instead, I will now make Gnasher's Tooth with this belt on my bench. And I'll just have to try to get another tier at some other point in time. By the way, there's a Vhagar as well. So we have the send back. So I can now look to send one of these units over to Headwinder. This is also one of the gift rounds. So he asked me what I wanted. And I'm going to go ahead and take the component anvil. I was hoping a tier would be there. A tier was there. It's 50% odds because there's 8 components and you get 4 of the 8. So if you're looking for one thing in particular, you can you have 50% odds to get one of them. And now I have the option to send him something. He has the option to send me something. He is close to hitting some of these units. So I asked him, do you want me to send 1-star Vex, 1-star Vigor? And Headwinder said that I believe he took the 1-star Vex here. Yes, so he's going to take the 1-star Vex, and now I'm going to keep rolling. We opted not to use his send on cooldown, And the reason for that is he was getting very close to hitting 2-star versions of some of these. I believe he has 2 out of 3 Zoes over there. So we were hoping that we could maybe hold the send a little bit longer. And if he could find one more Zoe, then he'd be able to send me a 2-star version. And then I would just have the Zoe 3-star like that. Because I'm on 6 and I believe he's on 2. So the pair of us together have 8 of them. Again, you should be talking about these things while you're playing. What units you're trying to hit, what units they're trying to hit. Yeah, you can see he has 2 out of 3 Ahris and 2 out of 3 Zoes over there. So he's going to try to hit one of them because he'd much rather use the send on a 2-star version of the unit as opposed to a 1-star version. So we're kind of gambling that he'll be able to hit one of those units. I'd also really like it if he could hit the Zoe and send it to me because then I could just clear out some of my bench space. I am running very low on bench space here. And that would be nice to have, certainly. Anyway, I get a charm here. All right, I can get a Zoe. I have to drop something, but I'll drop the Shen for that. I don't really need Shen. I would like to play another Bastion unit when I level up, but Shen is not that important. Similarly, over there on the other side, I have 2 out of 3 Vagars, so I would love to hit one more Vagar. And then I could go ahead and send a 2-star Vagar over to Headwinder's board. I'm a little bit less likely to see that because I'm only level 5 and my odds to see the 3-cost units are not amazing. But it's certainly not impossible. I've already seen 2 Vagars. So I'm hoping I can get one more and send over to him. He does not have a lot of Vagars yet. He only has 2, but we do have 4 of them between us. And it's still relatively early in the game. If he's going to go vertical mages, Vagar is one of the best carries to play because like Nami is kind of a support unit. I mean, she deals pretty good damage, but she's still a little bit more of a support unit. Nami is the 4-cost mage and Vex is a tank, of course. By the way, this fight's really close. Can I win this? Not quite. Not quite. Ahri's Orb might have killed the Trist. I'm not sure. So I do lose that round, and I've actually lost most of the rounds here, but I'm starting to get a little bit closer. As I said, I'm on 7 Zoes. Unfortunately, I'm only on 5 Poppies, 5 Lilias. And if you're wondering why it's so important to hit these 3-stars, now this is definitely going to help. I get another Ahri, and then I also have room for another Hecarim. So I'm actually going to sell that because, as it turns out, I had the Zoe 2-star coming over from Hecarim, or from Headwinder. Excuse me on that. So I was able to sell the Zoe because I knew I had a 2-star version of the unit coming over from Headwinder. So that's good. I've already hit my first 3-star unit. Now, this is really important because the Arcana trait gives you additional additional team-wide ability power if you put it on the Ahri. Now, you can put that on a number of different units. And by the way, I'm going to get a unit here. And my most played was Bastion trait. And I'm going to get a Taric, so that's not bad. Of course, I ended up selling the Taric because I was running out of space on my bench. But Taric wouldn't have been a bad unit to play, certainly. All right, now I'm going to reroll my shop, and now I'm up to 6 Ahris. So I'm going to roll down below 50 gold here because I'm really looking to try to find this. I do have a duplicator on my bench, so I'm really close to being able to hit here. And then I do find the 2-star Vagar, so I will be able to use that. And look at this, we get double artifact items. I was like, oh, wow, double artifact items. Okay. So I'm looking here. I see Ludens, and I was like, I think this is going to be reasonably good on Lulu. And then I see that there's Eternal Winter here as well. I was like, oh, that's going to be a really good item on Poppy. So I'm happy to put that on Poppy. Of course, I get slammed in this round. But I am close. Look at this. I'm on what is it? 7 or 6 Ahris, and then I'm on 8 Poppies. So I can find one more Poppy here. I'd have the Poppy 3-star, and that would actually help quite a bit. Again, to get back to the Arcana point, when you put the Arcana selector on Ahri, you get additional team-wide ability power for having more 3-stars on your board. So the more 3-star units I have, the more AP the entire team gets. Whew, all right, so we now have our 3rd augment, and none of these quite seem like they're that great, but then I see I've got this one here, Raid Boss. Your strongest Bastion gains 20% health. So this buffs up your strongest Bastion. I'm going to be playing 4 Bastions here. And the other thing it did is it gave me another Poppy. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to play this because it gives me another Poppy. And it also makes Poppy much stronger. So I'm looking at the different options here. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and make the Sunfire. I don't love this, but I didn't have any heal cuts on my board. And then I'm actually rolling here on, on level 5. I actually should probably be going to level, maybe should have gone up to level 6 to roll, but I end up hitting all the Lilias as well, and now I'm on 7 Ahri, so I'm 1 off the Ahri 3-star with my duplicator, so I'm really getting close here. I rolled very aggressively there, but we need to start winning rounds. We're starting to get low on health, and I need to start just winning some rounds here, so it was worthwhile to, I think, roll down there and take some of these units out of the pool. Now my front line is significantly better. I have that Bastion augment. I now have a 3-star Poppy with very good items. The Eternal Winter is going to be really nice against anyone doing physical damage on the enemy team. I've got that buffed up Ionic Spark, which is because I've got the like super Ionic Sparks basically. And then the Sunfire is just kind of like whatever, but it's like I said, I do need some kind of a heal cut on my board, so I'll take that. All right, now we have the Champion Send up again, and there's the 2-star Vhagar. Remember, I was preparing the Vhagar over there. So out of the leftover items, I do have the items for a Spear of Shojin on my bench, and I was like, you know, if I could just get a Xerath, Spear of Shojin would be so nice if I could just somehow get a Xerath on my board. I'd love to Spear of Shojin him. There is an Ahri over there on Headwinder's board, so again, we're trying to communicate here. And what we were saying to each other was he's got an extra Ahri, so he's going to have the Champion Send back in like 1 or 2 more rounds. I don't have to roll down to find another Ahri. I know that I can stay on 7 Ahris, and I can look to just start building up gold to start leveling again. He'll send me the Ahri as soon as the send is up. And then I will be able to use my Champion Duplicator on it, and then I will have Ahri 3-star. But like, there's no need to continue rolling because we basically already have the Ahri 3 between the Champion Duplicator and the one that's over there on Headwinder's board. So again, this means I don't have to waste econ rolling down for a unit that I may or may not hit. I'm basically guaranteed to have this unit in a couple of rounds. So we're hanging in there. We're actually in not great shape on health, but there's like one team that's really strong. And then the rest of us are kind of just, as I said, hanging in there. We've actually gotten enough health, though, in this lobby that I'm actually last pick on the carousel, which is kind of hilarious. I would be very happy to take the Taric if it's there, just to play Taric, because I would prefer to have Taric as my next unit in, if possible. And then after that, the build kind of opens up a little bit. Of course, I don't get that, but it's not the end of the world. I can definitely get something. And then I see there's an Ahri on the carousel, so I was like, you know what? Headwinder, you don't have to use your send on that Ahri. We can save it for something better because there's just an Ahri right here on the carousel, and I'm fine with taking this. And then there's another Ahri in my shop, so I'm like, all right, I will happily take that. And then there's a Taric in my shop, so I'm like, all right, I'll play the Taric, and then I can buy a lesser Champion Duplicator. I wasn't sure if I wanted this because I've kind of hit all my 3-stars at this point, but I decided, you know what? I think I'll just go ahead and take this anyway. And then I decide I'm going to use this item remover. I'm going to pop the Spark off the Hecarim. And I decide, should I put it on the Taric or the Lilia? I'll just put it on the Lilia instead. Probably should have put it on the Lilia to begin with. And I want to make sure that I have the selector on Ahri. Again, I get additional ability power for each 3-star unit on my team. I now have 4 3-star units. At the moment, at only Arcana 2, I believe I only get 5 additional ability power per 3-star. So I think I get 20. I think I get like 10 flat and then another 5 per 3-star. So I think we're getting 30 right now, but that will go up if I can play deeper into the Arcana trait. And did I take this Lesser Champion Duplicator? I thought that I bought this during the game. Did I end up buying this? I'm trying to remember. The round's almost over. Maybe I did skip this. I thought I bought it. Okay, never mind. I guess I thought that I bought this, but I guess I did not. All right, so as far as the build goes, as I said, we're trying to get closer to that Vhagar 3-star. We actually have 8 out of 9 Vhagars, so I would love to get that for Headwinder if I could see this. As far as my team goes, I've kind of completed the core build for this. I 3-starred the 1-costs, the Poppy, the Lilia, and the Zoe. They're all 3-star. I 3-starred the Ahri as well. And then these are the core 3-stars in the comp. After this, you want to look to start leveling. The core of the comp is playing these units and then also looking to play into 4 Bastion after this. The reason why is you're going to want to play Hecarim. Hecarim gives a rank of Arcana and is, oh, there you go. You actually see the stats on this right now. If we can get to Arcana 4, it's 20 plus 12 per 3-star. So we have 4 of them. That would be 68 AP for the whole team if we managed to get up to 4 Arcana. On that note, you will definitely want to play Hecarim because Hecarim's a Bastion unit, and we're already running Bastion frontline. He also gives the Arcana trait, so we want to play that unit anyway. After that, the build opens up a little bit. One way that you can go is you typically would then also want to play Taric because Taric's also Bastion. He makes 4 Bastion. He will give you 2 out of 3 on the Portal trait. And then you can, after that, if you want to, you can look to play like Rise will give you an additional Scholar and will give you Portal trait. You could play Rise plus Melio, and then that gives you Scholar plus... it gives you 4 Scholar plus 3 Portal, which is really strong. But it does require finding Rise plus Melio. By the way, also look at how I manipulate my team here. I take out the Taric and I put in the Tom Kench, which was just sent to me by Headwinder. This means I now have 3 Arcana, so I'm hoping I'm going to get the top tier Arcana unit here. And is this going to work out? Did I manipulate this correctly? Well, the answer is yes, I did, because remember, I get a 5-cost unit of my most played trait, and I have 3 Arcana in, also 3 Bastion. Thankfully, it didn't pick Bastion. So now I can put Xerath on the board. And remember, I was saving a Spear of Shojin on my bench the whole time. So now I have a Xerath on my board. Now I have 4 Arcana in just like that. I do only have the 3 Bastion, so my front line's a little bit sketchier. But we'll go ahead and look to make this. I'll make the Jeweled Gauntlet. Jeweled Gauntlet's a pretty good item. I wouldn't say it's an amazing item. But yeah, we have 4 Arcana right now. So I remember I just did the math on that. This is 20 AP flat and then 12 per 3-star, and I have 4 of them. So 68 AP for the whole team as a result of this. And now I also just have Xerath, who is, a really strong 5-cost. And he also has the ability to get those unique Xerath charms too, so I can start seeing them in the shop as well. Now I just want to get up to level 8 so I can put the Taric back on the board, and then I'll have 4 Arcana, 4 Bastion, 2 Scholar, 2 Witchcraft. I also want to go ahead and grab the Vex because we were trying to make Vex 3-star for Headwinder's board. He's getting reasonably close, but I think he has like 5 or 6 of them. Also, look at this. Gain a copy of every 4-cost champion. This is one of the unique Xerath charms. It costs 36 gold, but if you sell every single one of these units, you actually get them back. You actually make the money back again. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. So we'll sell all of these. Like I said, you can look to play Rise plus Melio, but I'm not going to go that route in this game because I have the early Xerath. So I'm going to sell all of these. Now, I wanted to ask Headwinder, do you want me to send you the Nami or the Vex? And he said hold the Vex. Again, a good example of why you want to be communicating. So I ended up getting a 2nd copy of Taric and a 2nd copy of Tom Kench, and I actually ended up making money because it cost 36 to buy the charm, but I believe I sold, what is it? I believe that there's 12 copies of the 4-cost. I'm not exactly sure. It's either 12 or 11. I think it's 12. So that would be 48 gold if you sold them all. So I think I kept 2 of them. I think that I paid 36 and got back 40. So I think I made 4 gold and got an extra copy of Taric and Tom Kench. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, so again, now I decided I would go ahead and level and put in the Taric. So we've kind of got the core of this build: 4 Arcana, 4 Bastion, 2 Scholar, 2 Witchcraft. And I still have a cheap champion duplicator and a full champion duplicator. So that, that's not bad. I'm still trying to figure out what to use this on. Now, I could use the full champion duplicator on Taric or on the Tom Kench, but they're both unitemized units, so that's not really that valuable. What I really want to have happen is I really want to get another Xerath and then duplicate the Xerath, because that would give me Xerath 2-star, which would be really, really nice. Xerath having Spear of Shojin plus Jeweled Gauntlet, plus 68 bonus AP from Arcana 4. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Now, as far as this other team, they have a 3-star Katarina, but Xerath does manage to get his full cast off before he dies, and Ahri is still alive, and it looks like we win this fight. I have been winning most of these fights. I lost the last one, but I've been winning most of them. It's actually a pretty tight lobby. That one team that was way ahead in health has kind of come back to the field, and now there's 2 teams on 1 HP, so one of these teams has to be out relatively soon. I was kind of hoping that there'd be a Xerath on this carousel. I could just grab the Xerath and duplicate it, but there is not one of them. I also would have grabbed the Melio with red buff and just grabbed that to put on the Xerath. That is not there as well. So I was like, okay, there's a Rise here. I'm going to grab this. This will deny the lobby a Rise, and I'll just put it on Xerath. Now, Rageblade is not a great item on Xerath. Biggest reason why is when he uses his ult, he locks himself in place for like 4 seconds, and he can't auto attack while he's ulting. So it's not a great item on him. I could maybe, I maybe should have gotten the adaptive helm instead. I did have the option to take that. But there is some synergy here between the Spear of Shojin and the Rage Blade. Like, there is actual synergy here. All right, so I am going to get the gift here. I'm going to get a completed item anvil. There's another Spear of Shojin, but I'm going to go ahead and take another frontline item here. I don't need a static shiv. I already have double ionic spark to debuff. I'm going to start itemizing Taric because I think he's going to be 2-star. Now I'm going to roll down, and I'm going to try to see. I'm going to take the target dummies. I'm trying to see if I can hit one more Tom Kench or one more Taric. But then I notice I have 2 out of 3. I notice I have 2 out of 3 Vexes. I have a cheap champion duplicator, and I have the send up. So boom, I'm going to send a Headwinder, and just like that, we have 3-star Vex. That is how you work together with your teammate right there. I was holding 1 Vex. I saw one in my shop. I had a lesser champion duplicator that I really had no need for. Like, I'm not going to 3-star hacker him or something, and I've already 3-starred all of my other units that cost less than 4 I've already 3-starred all my other 1, 2, and 3 cost units. So I kind of had this extra duplicator sitting there, but I saw it and I was like, oh, I can go ahead, buy this Vex, duplicate it, use the champion send to get this over to Headwinder, and then that made 3-star Vex. And that was huge for his board because he's playing 9 mages right now. He has 2 mage emblems. Now the downside is I'm only able to send him a champion duplicator here because I did spend all my gold to make that happen. I guess I did overroll a little bit, but still, that's not bad. The champion duplicator can let him duplicate something there. And then I actually have a Taric right there in my shop, so I'll go ahead and lock for that. And that'll let me make the 2-star Taric. Still, again, these are the kind of things you want to be discussing when you're playing with playing the game with your partner. Is you really want to be thinking about what units does your partner need. And Vex was clearly the most important unit for Headwinder because frontline was his biggest issue. He has 9 mages in, which the mages double cast at I don't know what some kind of crazy increased ability power when they have 9 mages in there. But his biggest weakness was he didn't have great frontline, and that's always been a weakness of like spellcasting comps in TFT. The Vex 3 gives him very good frontline, so yeah, he's pretty set at this point. This round, I'm going to be up against this warrior board, and this is the one that we fought before with the 3-star Katarina. Cat does a lot of damage. Now, unlike the last time we fought this board, this time the Xerath died before he was able to get his ult off, so this is looking a little bit shakier. I'm just hoping Poppy can hang in there a little bit longer. And Fiora is going to one-shot the Ahri. So yeah, just this time Xerath was not able to get his cast off, and that was the difference in that fight. So I do end up losing that round, and the good news is Headwinder was still able to win the round anyway. So we're going to win that and knock them down to 1 HP. So now we're in pretty good shape. Now we just need either one of us to win one more round, and we'll be able to win the lobby. So I want to make sure that I get, remember our initial portal, how we always get a unit tailored to our board. So I want to try to manipulate my board so that I will get an Arcana unit, which means I'll be guaranteed to get Xerath. So I'm actually going to take the Lilia off the board. My second copy of Tahm Kench goes on the board. By the way, it took me like the entire planning period to figure this out. I only realized it at the last second. Now I have 4 Arcana, but I don't have. I only have 3 Bastion in. So now Arcana is my top played trait. I'm guaranteed to get a 5-cost Arcana unit. Well, there's only one of them. That is Xerath. And does the math work? Yes, it does. Xerath pops right out of the portal. And just like that, we got that champion duplicator. Boom. There we go. 2-star Xerath in a 4 Arcana comp. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So I took a Xerath charm that caused rerolls to only cost 1 gold. That gave me 15 rerolls. I'm just looking really for Tahm Kench too. Can I find it? No, I cannot. But I do get the option to take another item here. So I was like, I think I need more frontline. Xerath and Zoe and Ahri are going to kill everything. I just need my frontline to hang in there long enough so that they don't die on the way there. And I'm up against this Hunter board over here. So if we win this round, the game is over. And now that Xerath is 2-star, Xerath is going to do an awful lot of damage. Look at those bolts. He hit Jinx with 2 out of 3. Kind of wish he had hit Jinx with another one. It would have one-shotted the Jinx back there. But no, Jinx is still alive, but not for long. You can see we are winning this round very easily. Headwinder has also won his round, so we're going to win this, and we're going to knock them out of the lobby. And that's GG. We win the game with 15 HP left. So a fun game, definitely. I think this game was a good example, first of all, of how to play this reroll comp. Antisocial Monkey in our group is the expert of doing reroll comps, but I think I played this one pretty well. I was able to hit all the key 3-stars. I hit the Ahri, Zoe, Poppy, also even got the Lilia on the way there, and then looked to build out the board from there with a couple more Bastion units and some Arcana units as well. But on top of that, it was also a great game to showcase working together with your partner in double up. I thought that Headwinder and I really worked well to get our units in this game. He was able to send me a 2-star Zoe. He was able to send me a really key, what was it? He sent me the... What else did he send me? He sent me a couple Zoes early in the game. I was able to send him a 2-star Vex and a 2-star Veigar. So we used our sends together. We communicated really well, and we were able to turn this into a nice first-place finish. In any case, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care, folks. I'll see you again soon.